What is SoundCloud for artists? SoundCloud have just run a brand new platform and services all for artists. Well, actually, they've rebranded Repost Network, which they actually rebranded to Repost by SoundCloud last year, into SoundCloud for artists. And that now pulls in Soundcloud Premiere, Soundcloud Promote, all into one cozy little platform, SoundCloud for artists. In today's video, I thought I'd jump in and look at SoundCloud for artists, chat about fan-based royalties, and also how this is going to impact my regular Shedheads, dance music, DJs, and producers. Hey, I'm Graham Farmer, and today in the Disco Shed, we're going to be chatting about SoundCloud for artists. So, what is it? SoundCloud for Artists is an all-in-one platform to connect artists to their fans and elevate their careers. SoundCloud for Artists now centralizes all of these processes into one platform. Sounds cool, right? We've seen over the last few years that SoundCloud has been pushing themselves more in that kind of creator-artist space, and they actually stated, we believe that artists, producers, and songwriters are the driving force that continues to push what's next. This is similar to Spotify, Twitch, Bandcamp, and Apple Music. SoundCloud for Artists enhances the platform they bought from Repost Network in 2019 and pushes it to the next level. It allows original creators to distribute their music to Spotify and Apple Music, and it even looks like Beatport as well, whilst using the enhanced platform of SoundCloud. Obviously, in a dance music situation, this is a little bit different model to the kind of self-promotion, self-creation, and self-distribution model in other genres. As we know in dance music, it's usually around focusing on getting your music signed to labels. The labels kind of push it out to the distributors and they'll put it on their platforms and do a lot of that grunt work themselves. And if you're struggling to get signed to record labels, I've linked them below and above to some previous videos and my playlist videos on how to get signed to music labels and how I do it. The label then navigates all the kind of streaming and connecting with the DSPs and connecting with Spotify and pushing your music out to Beatport and pushing it out to TrackSource and obviously all the streaming platforms. So how will this change to SoundCloud for artists affect DJs and producers? We are definitely going to go in depth in that and chat about that more, so keep watching this video for later in the video. Before we jump into that, let's step back to 2021 when SoundCloud rolled out fan-based royalties and chat about what they are. This is SoundCloud's new way of paying artists, and it was actually pretty cool. Fan-based royalties work simply. In the old style model, which is basically adopted by Spotify and a lot of other platforms, all of the money that's made by all the kind of subscription charges and advertising, it's all put into one big pot. Now, what happens with that is it's split up depending on your percentage of the total streams done for that week, that month. So, this is a little unfair for small creators and small artists because you get the 1% of the big artists that do billions of streams. They take a big chunk of that pot. So as a small creator, a small artist, you don't earn much on those platforms. Now, what fan-based royalties do is, which is different to Spotify, is they take the whole pot and distribute the money to the people that have been streamed. In their previous model pot, you may not have even listened to someone like Ed Sheeran, but some of your revenue and some of your subscription fee could be going to him. You might be listening to full-on dance music all the time. None of your subscription fee is going to dance music. That sucks. Whereas fan-based royalties, whoever you're streaming and whoever you're listening to, they are getting a percentage of your fee. Much better for smaller creators. SoundCloud said, what's next isn't determined by algorithms and gatekeepers, but the true path towards a long, successful career is best achieved by cultivating deep fan relationships and community. They believe that artists should be rewarded directly by their fans, so they've launched fan-based royalties, a revolutionary new model that allows artists to be paid based on fans' actual listening habits. This system was actually under Repost by SoundCloud, and you had to log into a different system. And there was also SoundCloud Premiere, which is kind of SoundCloud's old monetization system. So there was kind of two systems that kind of essentially monetize your tracks on. It was all very clunky and all very kind of very slow and very difficult to navigate. And you didn't know which one you were clicking to and which one had the best results. Also, Repost Network, again, was an old site. They bought it in, they plugged it into SoundCloud, and again, it was quite slow. If you had thousands of tracks, sometimes the website broke and it got really slow and you couldn't use it. Bit of a nightmare. Also, the metrics on their system weren't that great. You could actually see who was streaming and how much your tracks were being streamed, which was great, but it was very difficult to use. With the rollout of SoundCloud for Artists, they've made all these platforms all built into one, and now you just head to one platform, one user interface, and we've been able to dig around it, and it looks really, really cool and much, much easier to use, much slicker, much faster, and it's definitely going to speed up some of the things we do. They've also changed the names to subscriptions and kind of different how things are going to look from going forward for SoundCloud. So you have 3 subscriptions now. SoundCloud Basic is now called Next. SoundCloud Repost is now called Next Plus. Pro Unlimited is called Next Pro. Next still gives you 3 hours of upload, sharing of private tracks, basic insights, and public posting of tracks. Next Plus brings in SoundCloud for artists and allows you to get paid for your music, distribute your music to Spotify, Apple Music, and TikTok and more. You can also do split payments across creators. So if you create someone, do a collaboration, you can split that payment between the two of you. So now they have the front end, which is loved by 40 million active users on SoundCloud, and they have a back end to support it and support payments and royalties much quicker. This puts them in a leg up against platforms like TuneCore and DistroKid, which are kind of the self-promotion, self-distribution platforms. So is their battle really against those platforms and to take some of that market? After all, they've already got the front end and they've already got loads of streams, which those platforms don't have. They're just distribution platforms. Next Pro gives you unlimited uploads, advanced fan insights, partner offers from places like Splice, track management toys, and track spotlighting, so you get like cool banners on the back of your SoundCloud uploads. They look really sick because they stand out in the stream and the feed. Next Pro members will also receive a 50% discount on SoundCloud Go Plus, which is their online streaming platform, a bit like Spotify. They also said, stay tuned for more exciting products that are going to be rolling out over the next coming months. It's going to help you elevate your career. These are definitely going to include products that are going to help you understand your superfans and be able to elevate and push more stuff to your superfans. Really cultivating that fans to artist engagement. They said we can actually go back to the concept that you don't need to scale. You just need to focus on 1,000 or even 100 true fans. SoundCloud is looking to go back to the golden days of MySpace when building fandom was key. This really helps make SoundCloud a kind of companion to other music streaming services, to create economy services, and live streaming platforms. It's really a plug-in for artists for sure. And we love it because we love SoundCloud at Data Transmission. So, what does this mean for DJs and producers in the dance music space? First and foremost, the DJ mix. Well, this isn't going to be impacted at all by this. You can still upload DJ mixes and you can still upload them to SoundCloud. And we've been uploading 20, 30 a week. We never get takedowns anymore. That hasn't happened for a long time. And anyone that says that online, that they stopped doing that a long time ago. You might get the odd one if your mix is full of major label tracks. But if you're a dance music underground DJ and producer, we've not had it and we're uploading 20 to 30 a week. Bootlegs and edits. Now, this is an area that might be impacted. When you upload a bootleg or an edit, you don't actually own the rights to the samples that you're using. So therefore, you shouldn't be able to push them through the distribution models for SoundCloud for artists and put them on Spotify or Apple Music. You shouldn't be able to monetize them via the kind of monetization platforms. Now, if there's a loophole in SoundCloud for artists that allows you to do this, then you could get in trouble if the owner of those samples comes looking for it if your track blows up. I'm hoping that SoundCloud for Artists platform will stop the kind of bootlegs edits being monetized or being pushed to distribution, and I'm sure they'll put that in place. Original material. Now, this is the place for it. If you're creating original material, maybe you're sending it to a label, maybe you're not getting the releases on the labels you're trying to get hold of, maybe you're not landing on the labels you want to land on. Now, you've got an option. Do you go for a smaller label and work up the ladder of labels, or do you just push them out via SoundCloud, push them out to Spotify and Apple Music and distribute them yourself and use the tools to pitch them to the playlist networks and to the SoundCloud playlists to push your music out there and kind of build yourself an artist? Or do you take the smaller label option and go that route? This is something I've discussed on when I'm ditching the label. Check that video again below. I'm going to put that link below as well. So it looks like by releasing my SoundCloud for Artists, you're going to make actually a better revenue stream. You're going to build some audience. You're going to build some fan base. And those sort of things are going to be key when you want to try and sign to a bigger label. You're going to get on Spotify. You'll be able to get on some playlists. You'll be able to do a load of the stuff yourself. If you're spending art marketing budgets and pushing Facebook and Instagram ads to build yourself as an artist, all this revenue will be coming back to you. You could even put the tracks on Bandcamp and make a sales point of view to sell the tracks yourself as well. So that all of this kind of stuff is coming in-house to yourself and you're controlling all the assets to your releases. You could also get out of the rat race of trying to sign to smaller labels and waiting for that kind of waiting game of sending it off, releasing, sending it off, trying to get signed, sending it off, trying to get signed, and it's just not happening. You can speed up that process. You can then build a release strategy for yourself around your music and start pushing your music out there. This will definitely build consistently for your releases and definitely build a solid plan for your releases, which then you can build yourself as an artist. And then as your music starts getting better and better and better, you can then you've got a fan base and got royalties and got streaming numbers to help you push pushed to the bigger labels. The only issue with this then is, who is the gatekeeper? Obviously, when you're getting signed to a label, there is a gatekeeper. There is someone saying this music is good enough. We won't get hundreds of thousands of tracks that have just been put out there by anybody, quite frankly, aren't good enough to be released, that aren't ready. The artist or the DJ isn't ready to be pushing their music out. They should be kind of getting that knockback, and they should be kind of getting that rejection to make them go and work on more music and maybe do a course and learn something else and push themselves to be better. They won't have that gatekeeper. They'll just be putting the music out there. It will also allow DJs and producers just to put music out in all types of genres, which they could be putting out a tech house track one month, a techno track the next month, and a drum and bass track the next month, just because they've made it and they like it. Now, is that a good thing for a DJ and producer? Are they going to build an audience around their music if their audience doesn't have a clue what they're going to release next, and they can't build any familiarity for themselves? With more of these platforms being artist focused, is this then going to have the demise of labels? Are we going to see less and less of the smaller labels and more of the artists that are just pushing the music out themselves? What will happen to the bigger labels? Will they start taking percentage of managing more artists and taking percentage of streams because everyone's doing their own thing? And their gateways and their kind of fan bases will be just pushing these releases more. Honestly, I can't see that happening. The big labels are kind of big and they're kind of cementing those places. They've got connections, they've got relationships, and you want to be on those big labels because they're good names to be on, and it's a good thing to be for yourself. Artists like to jump around labels and kind of pull in from fan bases all over the place, so I can't see that happening. The labels will probably do what they're doing now. They'll just control more of those platforms and kind of push out the music to the SoundCloud platforms, which then does it make SoundCloud for artists any use for dance music labels? Maybe not, because they're just using their own distributions. But there is a smaller mid-tier section where if you're wanting to release your music and you've got a bit of a following on your social media and you've got a bit of a fan base, that you could then start monetizing. You could then start building release structure, building your releases and pushing yourself forward so that you're building a fan base even more and monetizing what you're doing from your music. This could be definitely your place. You also might get the really, really giant artists that just don't need labels because they've got millions of fans and they don't need labels to release music because they're getting gigs, they've got a structure and they've got a fan base to push all that to one place. And they could then control that themselves with a person in-house. All of this, if they start using these SoundCloud for artists, this could push out the Beatport model. If they're not distributing to Beatport, people could start using Bandcamp and kind of do it using that DIY kind of release strategy for themselves and cut Beatport out. We might lose the kind of Beatport chart and the Beatport hype on all that kind of stuff around getting the Beatport #1. Is that still important anymore? Let me know in the comments below if you think a Beatport #1 is still important. One thing's for sure with SoundCloud and SoundCloud for artists, if you're going to start using SoundCloud for artists, you're going to need a fan base. SoundCloud is definitely a great place for building a fan base, but you're also going to need fan base externally, whether it's through a database, whether it's through social media, whether it's a TikTok following, whether it's a YouTube following. You're going to need people to push to those releases so you get the streams on your music. These changes to SoundCloud and SoundCloud for artists might not be the battle you think they are. They could be the battle for the DistroKid, the TuneCore, and taking this revenue stream from them and taking over that space for the self-managed artist. What do you think? Will you distribute your music through SoundCloud for artists? Will you use it as a platform? Will you start not pitching to these smaller labels? Will you start just doing it yourself? Do you have the chops? Do you have the design needs for kind of looking at design stuff? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what you're thinking about this. I'd love to know if you'd start just doing it yourself and essentially releasing your own music and start taking some of that stress of pitching to record labels out the game and just build your own fan base and build your own audience and start earning from your music probably a lot better. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. If you do want to improve your social media game and you do want to build your SoundCloud, your Spotify, then my course, The Artist Blueprint, does exactly that. And it helps you learn these things, helps you understand music marketing, and helps you push yourself through as an artist. It also gives you a detailed plan for releasing music and how to run Spotify, Instagram, and Facebook ads. And if you want to be involved in that and work with us and the team at Data Transmission, then it's very simple. You need to just jump on a discovery call. The link is below. On the discovery call, we talk about where you are now, where you want to get to, what your goals are, and then we see if the course is right for you right now. If it's not right for you right now, then I'll give you some more information about what you should be doing, thinking about for next, and how to push yourself forward, and then we'll chat again in the future. Thank you for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed this. I've been Graham Farmer. Consider subscribing to make sure you don't miss any of my videos. It really helps me out. I want to hit that 40,000 mark. We're getting close. So if you've enjoyed these videos, hit that subscribe and let's help me on my way to 40,000 followers. And I will see you in the next video. Cheerio. Bye-bye.